Hello, student. This analysis is about my first feedback on your research discussion number 1 for Business 7070, but this actually applies to any other student for any other class. So this is very important for you to realize the reasons behind my feedback, how I analyze your research discussions, and because this might not be something you're used to. So uh, please let me share with you what I am doing so you get a better understanding of what my feedback is about and how I go about looking at your posts. As I already have said it in the Business 7070 class, I usually look at your post at the number of grammatical errors, I look at number of words, I look at your in-text citations, then I look at the content of your post and the logic behind it. Now, like for example, doesn't matter what student, because having too many grammatical errors, that's totally unacceptable. This time I have not deducted any points for this, but next time such a post will receive a 2 out of 14. So very important. I do want for you to understand grammatical alerts are very important. Using words such as cheaply, not appropriate. Maybe you want to use inexpensive. To achieve this, the word this, what does this mean, right? You have to use something else. The word this, in here, this particular case, we're talking about when they say to achieve this, this person has meant, economic development, and that this suddenly was related to approaches to combine robotics, space, and telecommunication. No way. Now, barriers that should be scaled or barriers that should be dealt with, you don't scale barriers that way. I mean, this sentence has errors, and you can see some of these sentences, they don't even sound right. Or this other person using very vague terms like with him teaming up with them, him teaming up with them, he, them, she, they don't make sense. You sound like civilization is the same as connectivity in your argument, not necessarily acceptable. Or even in this one, someone's saying that economic development is identical to globalization. Not so. I don't think this is a very open argument. There are many debates and, again, many grammatical errors, 51 grammatical errors here. Again, use cheap or less expensive phones. You may want to say using inexpensive or less expensive. Again, looking at sentences that Facebook is connecting more and more individuals in third world countries connected online. So connected. It doesn't make sense, right? Not, and again, you have to sometimes run on sentences. Again, 33 grammatical errors. Please watch out. Make sure you use Grammarly. We've bought it for you. We've provided it for free for you, so you can. Make sure if you have to write 500 words, write 500 words, okay? Make sure if you have to follow a particular regiment and answer it in a particular way or post in a particular format, make sure you adhere to that. This time I was not very harsh when it came to your posts, but as we go through this class, you'll see me. And if you don't get it now, it's going to become a lot more difficult. That's why you need to understand that you are required as a DBA student, you are mandated, required to understand APA version 7, okay? If you don't, you're going to be in trouble. Please make sure you buy this book and you read it. Why? I tell you why. Look, let me just quickly and within like a couple of minutes go through this so you get an understanding, right? Chapter 1, scholarly writing. What are these things? Especially because very soon you have to be writing papers, and this is for student paper, by the way. How do you do quantitative or qualitative or mixed methods, right? How do you deal with ethical issues? paper elements, right? What even for student papers, we're not talking about for professional jars. We're talking about for student papers, what you need to know, how they should be, what are the running head issues, you know, and samples are there. Even for JAR, for journal article reporting standards, what there are in there, less so for you than for people who want to publish papers. Now, writing styles and grammar. You'll be amazed. And I'm gonna go really to this particular chapter 4 and chapter 5, your biases, you know, you have to watch out. You have to be using bias-free language. There are many well-defined both age, on disability, gender, racial, you know, ethnic identity, sexual orientations. There are very well-defined guidelines you need to understand and adhere to, and mechanics of writing. You know, from anything that you might imagine are covered here, right? From commas to semicolons to colons to where you can use a parenthesis, where you, how you use a noun. So, and then you go later on, but let me just quickly go to chapter 4 and show you that, first of all, in chapter 1, you're gonna find a lot of help because in here, there are, I mean, as you read through them, you're gonna find exactly what you need to know, what type of research. So tomorrow, if you have to write a case study, you know exactly what to do. When you get to chapter 2, a lot of good examples here. So you don't need to even memorize, just have access to this. By the way, CMU has offered you everything almost here is available to you in our APA website. There is an exclusive APA website for CMU. Please make sure you understand how to go there. Make sure if you have any questions, please contact Rupali Vora and ask for help. As I said, these are very well defined. Please adhere to them because these are skill sets that are requirements of a DBA students. Everything you see here, by the way, all these are available to you in our website. Again, my suggestion, buy this book. If you want to get a degree, you better know this stuff. And you'd be amazed how good these are. You know, it's not just, you know, something that you have to just scan. In reality, understanding how to go about dealing with issues like this will be very pertinent to getting good grades and being able to prepare yourself to be able to do authentic and acceptable research. So please make sure you understand that. But, and I'm gonna pass JARS and go to chapter 4, in which when you see, you'd be amazed. And this is, by the way, written for English speaking students, not for foreigners who use English as a second language. Now, when you write, and please read these things carefully, you know, issues related to continuity and flow, transitions, you know, when you can use then, next, whatever, these are not that easy. Noun strings, you know, I've seen so many misuse of noun string, how you have to deal with your clarity and why do you have to be clear, not vague, you know, because if you don't watch out, I was talking about run-on sentences or redundancies. You don't want to just be hitting certain numbers because I told you to write 500 words. Even tonality, I mean, the tonality or the length of a paragraph, how much it can be, or if you are looking at contractions, how you go about doing that, or if you're using jargons, when and how you can use jargons. Logical comparisons, you have to be very careful on how you do your logical comparisons. Why this might be very important? Because as an engineering student has to write an equation or a physics student has to write an equation, your sentences are equations. They're as important. You may not just write something. Okay, this might be your inclination. Show me who supports that. This is your idea. You're not qualified to have an idea, nor am I, except I can support it with some references, academic, scholarly references that says, listen, based on what I read here and what they said, I believe. You cannot just quickly say something and feel that, oh, that's obvious. It really, maybe what you want to work on for your DBA is obvious. Not really. That's what the difference between becoming a doctor and not a doctor. A doctor cannot just say something. A doctor is expected to be able to look at everything from a very critical point of view. You will have sentences. You will have sentences that are ontological in nature. You will have sentences that are epistemological in essence, or axiological or methodological. You have to, this might be a comparative narrative. You have to watch out. I mean, look at the subtleties, right? This is correct, this is incorrect, but please take a look at it. So don't think I'm being nitpicking. No, not at all. I don't mean to do that. Please look, when you read my feedback, I spend a fair amount of time to guarantee that if you want to continue becoming a doctor, you need to know these things. There is no way, listen to me, no way for anyone to be able to get a grade for a paper, for an article, for a case study, unless they understand the differences. And in line with APA 7.0, you do need to know when you can use we, when you can use they, how you use he, she, it. So don't think I'm just being difficult. I'm not being difficult. I'm telling you, this is what DBA is all about. I don't care what you're used to. This is how it's done. Make sure you adhere to it if you want to be able to continue on this journey. This is the requirement. Not this university, any university anywhere else. I don't care where you go. If you are to write a dissertation, a paper, you are required to understand and adhere to everything you see here. It's not personal. My job is to give you this feedback. Hopefully, you do understand that I am here to make sure you are ready, prepared, and aware of the required skill sets of being able to have a fun time growing your skill sets and being able to manage your DBA. It's right now Saturday night, 10:22, and this is my message to you. Please read, understand APA format, and adhere to it in the strictest sense possible. You guys enjoy. Looking forward to reading your research discussions. Thank you.